Here's something that should stop you in your tracks right now. Whether you're thinking about buying a home, selling a home, or you've just been watching this market from the sidelines, waiting for the right moment, the February numbers for Hampton Roads just dropped. And they're telling a story that is going to directly affect how much money you walk away with or how much you pay in the next 90 days. Homes in Chesapeake sold in about 17 days last month. Virginia Beach buyers were looking at about 16 days before a home went under contract. And the median sales price across the region, well, it was holding steady at about $350,000, even as global economic tension is rattling mortgage rates right now. I'm going to break down every number, every city, and tell you exactly what it all means for buyers, for sellers, and anyone just trying to make a smart financial decision in Hampton Roads heading into this spring market. Stay with me. You'll want to hear all of this. Hi, I'm Carrie Tanner, realtor with At Coastal Realty. If you're new to this channel, welcome. Every single month, I pull the most current hyper-local data from RAIN, which is the real estate information network that tracks every transaction in this region. And I translate those numbers into something that actually means something to you. I'm not going to show you national headlines and pretend that they apply to your neighborhood in Chesapeake, Virginia Beach, or Norfolk, because they don't. Hampton Roads is its own market. It has its own rhythm. It has the military, the port, and it's one of the most economically stable foundations of any metro area in the entire country. And I've been working in this market for years, watching these trends up close. So let's get into the February numbers. There's a lot to unpack, and I promise you, this is going to be worth every minute of your time. I'm going to cover 9 cities and counties: Virginia Beach, Chesapeake, Norfolk, Portsmouth, Suffolk, Hampton, Newport News, Isle of Wight County, and York County. These aren't estimates, and it's not Zillow. This is verified transaction data directly from RAIN. The median sales price across Hampton Roads in February came in at $350,000. That's up 1.8% compared to February of last year, and it's absolutely flat compared to January, meaning the market is holding steady right at that price point. No dramatic spike up, no pullback, just a healthy, solid floor. Now, here's where it gets interesting by city. Chesapeake is on fire. The median sales price here is $435,000. That's a whopping 18.8% year over year. Chesapeake buyers take note. That city is appreciating fast. Virginia Beach came in at $385,000 and Suffolk came in slightly over $402,000. And if you're looking for value, Portsmouth came in a little over $282,000, and Hampton, you were looking at $295,000. Both still offer incredible entry points with strong appreciation. This is the stat that tells you whether buyers have any breathing room. The median days on market across Hampton Roads was about 20 days. And compared to January, that number dropped 23%. The market is accelerating. Chesapeake, you're looking at about 17 days. Virginia Beach, 16 days. Newport News is about 22 days. Norfolk is at 24 days. These are not markets where you can sleep on a decision. If you find a home that checks your boxes, the window to act is measured in days, not weeks. The outliers are Isle of Wight County at 45 days and York County at 38 days. Sellers across Hampton Roads received 99.3% of their list price in February. Think about what that means. If you priced your home at $350,000, you were getting offers of about $347,550. That's almost full asking price. In a normal seller's market, sellers typically get around 97 to 98%. We're well above that. Virginia Beach and Chesapeake both hit 99.5%. Essentially, full price offers are the norm in these cities right now. Active inventory across the region was sitting at 3,581 homes. That sounds like a lot until you hear this. We have 2.5 months of supply. A balanced market where neither buyers nor sellers have the upper hand requires about 5 to 6 months of supply. At 2.5 months, sellers are still firmly in the driver's seat. And that number has actually dropped 9.3% since January, meaning inventory is shrinking as we head into spring. Okay, if you're a buyer right now, I want to speak directly to you for a minute because the February numbers tell me a few very specific things about your situation. First, let's get into the good news. You have more options than you've had in the previous years. New listings came in at a little over 2,000 across Hampton Roads. Last month, that was up 4.3% a year ago. That is more doors to walk through, more opportunities to find the right home without making a panicked, over-asking offer just to compete. Second, and I need you to really hear this, you still need to move fast when you find the right one. 16 days in Virginia Beach, 17 days in Chesapeake, those numbers are not a joke. If you walk into a great home on a Saturday and say, I want to think about it until Monday, that home may already have offers by Sunday afternoon. You need to walk in pre-approved, knowing your number, ready to make a decision. Third, let's talk about interest rates because I know that's on your mind. The 30-year fixed rate is sitting at about 6.1% nationally as of this week. Here's the context I want you to really understand. Rates are continuously going to fluctuate, but one thing that we have seen go up instead of fluctuate is housing prices. You can't just sit on the sidelines and wait for the interest rates to drop thinking you're going to get the house you want, because when rates drop, more buyers enter the market, which causes a supply and demand frenzy. And for those buyers who have been sitting on the sidelines waiting for that perfect moment, other buyers are getting off the sidelines right now. This spring market is going to heat up fast. The buyers who act in March are competing against fewer people than the buyers who wait until May. Every week you wait, the room gets more crowded. If you're thinking about selling your home in Hampton Roads, the February data is giving you green light. But let me tell you the difference between selling successfully in this market versus leaving money on the table. Let's talk about the green lights first. Sellers across this region are getting 99.3% of their asking price. Inventory is declining heading into spring. We only have 2.5 months of supply, which means demand still significantly outpaces what's available. In Chesapeake, median prices jumped 18.8% year over year. If you own a home in Chesapeake and you've been on the fence about selling, your equity position right now may be significantly higher than you think. But here's what I see trip sellers up in this market: overpricing. This isn't 2021. Today's buyers are educated. They're online every day and they know what homes are worth. An overpriced listing gets ignored. It sits, it stales, and then you end up doing price reductions that make buyers wonder what's wrong with the house. The homes sitting at 45 days in Isle of Wight or 33 days in Hamptons, some of those are well-priced homes, but just in slower micro markets. But some of them came out of that gate too high as well. My prescription for sellers right now, get a real comparable-based analysis before you pick a number. Don't just go online and get a quote from what you find on the internet. Get a real analysis by someone who knows your neighborhood. Invest in professional photography. And if you can, stage the main living areas. And list now, before the spring inventory surge. Right now, buyers have fewer choices. That's your window. Now, let's zoom out because there are things happening in the world right now that are absolutely affecting this market. And I want to give you honest, unfiltered version. Let's address Iran. I've been getting calls about this all this week. People are nervous, and I want to address it directly. Military tensions in the region have escalated significantly. Global markets reacted, oil prices moved, and mortgage rates, which had been flirting in the high fives, bounced back slightly above 6%. Now, here's what the Iran situation could mean for real estate. And I'm going to give you both sides. On one hand, geopolitical instability creates uncertainty. When businesses and consumers are uncertain, big financial decisions slow down. That could soften demand slightly. While on the other hand, when global uncertainty spikes, investors often buy U.S. Treasury bonds as a safe haven. High bond demand pushes yields down, and when Treasury yields go down, mortgage rates tend to follow. We've already seen some of that dynamic play out recently. The bottom line on Iran and the housing market, this is creating short-term volatility in rates, not a structural collapse in the housing demand. The fundamentals of the Hampton Roads market, military employment, port economy, population growth, low inventory, those do not change because of what's happening overseas. And I want to make one point about Hampton Roads specifically that I think most people underestimate. We are home to the largest naval complex in the world. JEB Little Creek, Naval Station Norfolk, Langley Fort Eustis. When the geopolitical environment gets tense, those installations don't downsize. If anything, they expand. The military community that anchors this real estate market is uniquely insulated from the economic fear that hits other cities. Now, let's talk rates. The Federal Reserve has a meeting coming up March 17th and 18th. The unemployment rate ticked up slightly last month. Core inflation has been cooling. This is a real possibility, not a guarantee, but a real possibility that the Fed signals further rate cuts ahead. If that happens, we could see mortgage rates move back toward the mid-fives later this spring or summer. That would absolutely unleash more buyer demand. My advice on rates: do not let rate paralysis cost you the right home. Here's the math most people don't do. If you buy a home at 6.1% today on a $350,000 home and rates drop 5.5% in 12 months, you can actually refinance. Your monthly payments drop by about $130, but if you waited 12 months and that $350,000 home is now $365,000 because Chesapeake just appreciated 18.8% in 1 year, you've lost more than you would have saved waiting for that rate. Buy the home, date the rate. So let me pull it all together for you. Where are we heading as we roll into the spring market? Hampton Roads is entering spring 2026 with a median price holding firm at $350,000. That's up 1.8% from last year. Inventory is tight at 2.5 months of supply and declining. Homes are selling in 20 days or less in most cities, and sellers are getting 99.3% of asking price. The data does not show a market that is cooling. It shows a market that is gearing up. The spring market typically runs from March through June. Historically, this is when we see the most transactions, the most competition, and the strongest prices. 2026 is shaping up to be no different. More buyers are entering the market right now. More sellers will list as the weather warms, and if the Fed does cut rates or even signal cuts, we could see a significant surge of buyers who have been waiting on the sidelines. Buyers, move now. February's data proves demand is real and accelerating. Get pre-approved this week. For sellers, this is your moment. Price it correctly, present it professionally, and list before May when your competition does. If you've watched this far, thank you, genuinely. You are now more informed about the Hampton Roads real estate market than a vast majority of buyers and sellers in this area. And that information is worth real money. Now, let me help you use it. Whether you're thinking about buying, thinking about selling, or just trying to figure out where you stand, I want to have a real conversation with you, not a sales call, a real conversation. I'll tell you what your home is worth right now. I'll tell you what you can afford. I'll tell you which neighborhoods fit your life and your budget, and I'll help you build a strategy that makes sense for you, not just the market in general. The link to reach me is right below. The link to reach me is in the description below. Click it, shoot me a message, and I will personally respond. And if this video helped you in any way, hit that like button right now. It takes 1 second and it helps other people in Hampton Roads find this information. Subscribe if you want market updates like this every month, because this market is always moving and I will always have the latest numbers and information for you. Helping you navigate it is what I do. Thanks for watching, and be sure to check out one of these videos because YouTube thinks you'll like it.